So how you all doing? I'm going to talk about the Sega Game Gear. And this is it right here, Uh, Sega brought this out, 1989. It was to combat the Game Boy because Nintendo was so successful with the Game Boy. Sega said, "Yep, we're getting on that," and they made the Game Gear. The Game Gear, it's a colour handheld, and in my opinion, the Game Gear has superior graphics and sound to the Game Boy, but it just fails. It just failed. It just failed. It didn't do well enough for Sega, and I mean, fucking the Game Boy just stole the scene, and rightfully so, because the Game Boy was cheaper than the Game Gear, and the games were cheaper on the Game Boy. And the Game Boy just had a better library of games. It's just as simple as that, But the Game Gear was a good handheld. It had a good library of games, but nothing. It just couldn't match the Game Boy, Unfortunately, And the Game Gear, it was going up against the Atari Lynx as well. Now the Sega Game Gear, it did better than the Atari Lynx in terms of sales. And it has a better game library, in my opinion. It's all about opinion, really, Some people would say the Game Gear is their favourite based on the games, and that's their opinion. But if you're talking about from a business standpoint, Nintendo was just so dominant with the Game Boy because it was cheaper, there was more games for it, better games, and had better battery life. And like I said, the Game Boy, it continued into the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Micro, the Game Boy Advance. So it went on for over 10 years because it was so successful for Nintendo. And to be honest with you, we was kind of hoping that they'd continue making the Game Boy. You know what I mean? I don't know why they decided to just say, no more Game Boy stuff. So then they start making the DS and the 3DS and stuff, which are good, but I always prefer the Game Boy. I just thought the Game Boy had a better game library than the 3DS or the DS. But the DS introduced touchscreen technology and a stylus pen, and it had two screens. But it's all about the games for me, in my opinion. And the Game Boy just had better games. It was portable and it was in black and white. That was the only weakness with the Game Boy. But like I said, Game Boy, Nintendo brought out the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Micro, and the Game Boy Advance was a 16-bit color handheld. But getting back to the Game Gear, it was in color, it had sound, and there was loads of accessories and stuff made for the Game Gear because it did do well. Like, it wasn't a failure like the Atari Lynx. Like, it did better, There was a TV aerial tuner, right, that plugs into the cartridge slot, and it has the yoke that sticks up the antenna, and you could watch television on the. So it was a portable television, which was awesome. The games were awesome. I had great games. Like, these are the cartridges. This is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. In my opinion, it's a brilliant game for a handheld, and if you're thinking about getting a Game Gear, this is a game I totally recommend. Sonic 1 as well, but the games for the Game Gear were more expensive. Everything was just more expensive. Sega should have really lowered the price, but they couldn't because it cost them so much to manufacture these things, because it is a fairly hefty piece of tech for the time, in comparison to the Game Boy. But the main thing that matters is the games, like I said. The Game Boy just had better games, in my opinion. So the Game Gear, it lasted for like 2 or 3 years. It came out in 1989, and about 1992 was finished, I think. Sega fucking stopped supporting it, and that was it. But it was a great handheld. It has a cool D-pad, 1 and 2 buttons, a start button. It has a cool speaker, which is awesome. And on the top of the system, you have a headphone jack. That's the volume. The That's the volume, and the power adapter, Sega power adapter, 9-volt adapter, and that's the power switch. And now the Game Gear took 6 batteries. It takes 6 batteries, AA batteries. Same as the same as the Atari Lynx. It takes a lot of batteries, and it was just too expensive, and people weren't willing to shell out the money for the Game Gear. Like that was the main problem we found. That and at the back, you see them 2 holes. You can put a strap in there, and you can strap it to yourself on your belt or something like that. So yeah, I mean the main issue, the main problem with the Game Gear, it was just too expensive. Back in the day, in Ireland, in Dublin where I live, you can get a Game Boy with Super Mario Brothers for 110 quid, which was awesome. But the Game Gear was 250 to 260, and you got Sonic the Hedgehog. Big price difference. Then you had to get batteries and stuff. So ultimately, it just wasn't worth the price. I found, I had the Game Boy, I had the Game Gear, I had the Atari Lynx. I played the Game Boy the most, because there was more to play on it. I just prefer the Game Library on the Game Boy, and it's great value. Like, I didn't have to buy batteries all the time. The Game Boy took 4 batteries and it lasted a long time. Whereas look, I was a kid, I didn't have a whole lot of money, so I had to I couldn't afford the Game Gear. I got my Game Gear in 2010 with a bunch of games for €90, and it's pretty good. Now the problem with these earlier handhelds, you have to tilt it at the right angle to see what's on the screen. Even though it's in colour, it's still sort of hard to see what's going on. So the Game Gear, it was a good handheld, but it didn't do well enough for Sega, and really like nothing was gonna stop fucking Nintendo. You know what I mean? But the Sega Mega Drive did. I'll do a video on that later. But the Game Gear just didn't do well enough. But I still recommend it. It's fairly cheap now, and there's loads of games for it. So yeah, Sonic Drift is a great game for it. So yeah, I'd recommend the Sega Game Gear. I would. I mean, so the Game Gear, if we was to give it a score out of 10, we'd give it an 8 out of 10. It's a great handheld. It has a good game library. It's just expensive. You know what I mean? And I had to buy batteries but get a power adapter, but make sure it's a Sega one, and it's a 9-volt one, because it's very specific. It won't take any other sort of power adapter. So that's a Sega Game Gear. I'd really recommend it. Now on to the next one, which is Sega's last console that they made. Sega Dreamcast. The Sega Dreamcast was Sega's last console that they built, and this was a great console. It did very well in comparison to the Sega Saturn, but Sega lost so much money and respect from the Sega Saturn that they just couldn't keep supporting it. They ran out of money, so the Dreamcast had a very short lifespan. Like, it came out in 1999, and 2001 was pretty much finished because Sega pulled the plug on the whole thing, which was unfortunate, but the Sega Dreamcast, it's a 128-bit CD-ROM based system. You have the open button there. That's Ready to Rumble Boxing, which is a brilliant boxing game, and that's the power button. You power this on, that lights up orange, so it has a cool design. It's fairly heavy, and it takes 4 controllers, and Microsoft supported it with fucking Microsoft Windows CE, and has a built-in modem, you know. So the Dreamcast was the first console to really support online multiplayer. Uh, Phantasy Star Online, which is an awesome RPG online game. Metropolis Street Racer is another great game, online game. So yeah, they really, and Microsoft backed them. So it had everything going for it. It's just Sega fucking ran out of money and they couldn't support it. But it's a brilliant console. There's loads of great games. Capcom really supported the Dreamcast with loads of beat 'em ups. Street Fighter, Power Stone, loads of great games on the Dreamcast. Soldier of Fortune, other first person shooters, and it has great first person shooters. Quake 3 Arena is awesome. And the great thing about the Dreamcast is because Microsoft supported them, you can play PC games on the Dreamcast. So the PC version of Quake runs flawlessly on this. You know what I mean? And it's just a awesome console, and it's the best way Sega could have left it, the hardware industry. Like, a big apology to everyone for what happened with the Sega Saturn, but it's just a shame, you know. Now the Sony PS2 was coming out right around the corner, and that's just appealed to everybody because it was the first console to have a built-in DVD player, and DVD players were brand new at the time and they were very expensive. And with the PS2, you got a DVD console and an awesome. You got a DVD player inside an awesome game console. So the Sega should have put a DVD player in this. It would have helped, but ultimately, it's just a shame. Shenmue is an awesome game on this. Shenmue, if you're gonna get a Dreamcast, definitely get Shenmue. The controllers were very ahead of their time. The memory cards were called visual memory units, and these had built-in screens, and you can not only save games onto them, but you can play little mini games on the VMUs. So the Dreamcast was really ahead of its time, and Sega really put their all into it. They went for a whole white looking look rather than the black, but there are black Dreamcasts out there. It was only out for 2 years, but it sold very well. There's loads of games for, so I would highly recommend getting the Dreamcast. It's one of my favourite consoles of all time, and it's just awesome. It introduced online multiplayer and really got noticed. So now multiplayer is a mainstay with modern consoles, and it's thanks to the Dreamcast. You know, so that's where the power lead goes, AV out, and that's a serial part. I don't know what that's for, and that's the modem. Yeah, so you take the phone line and you put it right into the system. Dial-up only. It doesn't support Ethernet or broadband like we have now. So yeah, the Dreamcast, it's awesome. It has 4-player split screen with a lot of games. Awesome. And if you are going to get a Sega Dreamcast, Crazy Taxi is an awesome game. Sonic Adventure. There's just so many great games, and Capcom really supported it, you know. Metropolis Street Racer, Phantasy Star Online, you know. Awesome. Kiss Psycho Circus, which is the first person shooter, based on the band Kiss. So if you like Kiss like I do, it's awesome. So that's the Sega Dreamcast. It's awesome, and it has a large fan base, and we can understand why. It's just an awesome console, and it's definitely one of my favourites, you know. So yeah, that's it. I can't think of anything else to say. It's just now the Sega Dreamcast, I wouldn't consider that a retro console because it introduced online gaming, and now everything has online gaming. So it pioneered and started off that whole thing of online gaming. So I'd consider the Dreamcast not a retro console, but a modern console. You know, now I'd consider the PS1, the N64, Sega Saturn, them consoles and going back are like retro consoles because they all had the same sort of stuff. CD based games, there was no multiplayer, polygonal graphics and beat 'em ups and stuff. But the Dreamcast was the first online console. Well, the Sega Saturn was, but it didn't take off and hardly anyone knew about it. But it was really in its infancy on the Sega Saturn. But the Dreamcast is a fully fledged online system. You can watch. It's just awesome, you know. Now the PS2, I think that had an online service. I'm not too sure, but the PS2 had a DVD player. So if the Dreamcast had a DVD player, it would have helped it out more, I think, you know. But the Dreamcast was more of a, in my opinion, a more gaming dedicated console. Just so many great games. It didn't focus on any other area, well, except for the online features of it. But there was no music or DVD. But the PS2 came out, what, 2001, and it overnight sensation. The PS2 lasted over 15 years, and it's the most selling console of all time. Yeah, so you know the PS1 was fantastic, but the PS2 just went through the roof. You know, it was that great, like, you know. And Sega just couldn't combat that. You know, no matter how well of a launch they had and great games, they just couldn't compete. You know, and Sega just ran out of money, you know. But now Sega are making clone consoles with act games and stuff, but we still haven't seen a dedicated actual Sega console. Like the Atari VCS. The Atari VCS is going to be the first actual Atari console that they build themselves in over 20 years, and I have a brand new shirt to celebrate. So, like, yeah, it's going to be awesome. You know, everyone thinks the Atari VCS is going to be a big lump of shit and it's a scam. I disagree, but we wait and see what happens. I've pre-ordered my Atari VCS. I'm getting the collector's edition with the modern controller and the classic joystick, and I have my receipt July 2019. So I'm hoping and I'm praying that it's not a scam, and that it'd be awesome. I know it's going to be. Now, I don't have any proof, you know. It's a gamble. I'm just hoping and praying, really, because I'm a fan, you know. So I'd like to see Sega make their own console, but I don't know if they have the cash to do it or if they want to do it. But Act Games make their console, and I'll show you what I'm doing, you know. Yeah. Yeah, we just got this the other day on Thursday, you know. Yeah, I got it out of Argos for €100. Yeah, this is the Yak Game Sega Mega Drive. It's based on the Model 1 Sega Mega Drive. Has an on and off switch, you know, and that's a menu button. There's no headphone jack like the original Sega Mega Drive, or a volume. Now there used to be a volume yoke there on the side. That's missing as well. I think they should have put that in there, because it'd be good to be able to use your headphones while using this, you know. And you can use your own word Sega Mega Drive control pads if you want to, but it comes with two wireless 6-button controllers, which are awesome. They take two AAA batteries. So yeah, I mean, now I was nervous about getting this because the word was going around that this is a lot of shy. The games that are built into this thing are terribly fucking emulated and all, but we've played it and I'm not having any issues, you know what I mean? The games are running great, there's no slowdown with the music or anything like that. I've actually made a video about this earlier on, showing that it runs just fine. And the controllers, there's no input lag, there's no problems whatsoever. So Art Games actually did a good job here. Now, using the interface, like trying to select games is a bit annoying. You had to press C to go down and B to go up. which is awkward. It'd be just easier to use the D-pad to navigate, but it's not that fucking bad, you know. It's in the back. It outputs a 720p and a power adapter. So if you have a 4K television or a HD television, it looks fucking fantastic. So yeah, the Game Sega Mega Drive is fucking awesome. And but I want Sega to make their own console, but I don't know if that'll happen or not. Now there's an earlier model of the Game Sega Mega Drive which is a big lump of shit, and that's composite. It has 81 built-in games. Now the games from that slow down, like Sonic the Hedgehog, Golden Axe, even the cartridge games slow down. Now this supports cartridges as well, and there's no fucking issues. So would highly recommend it, you know. So I'm going to end this video, and thanks very much for watching. And like in 2019 June, July, I'll have my Atari VCS, and then we'll see if it is a big lump of shit. Now if it is, because if we get the Atari VCS, we plug it in and nothing happens, I'll burn it, I'll burn the shirt that I'm wearing, and I'll boycott Atari. Because I've been supporting Atari for over 40 years, and in all that time they've never fucking pissed me off or done me in. Now they may have done that to other people, but for me personally, I've never had that. I've never had any issue with Atari. Fun and enjoyment over the last 40 years, but this Atari VCS, if we get it and it is a big lump of shit, we'll burn it and I'll make a video of me burning it. And the shirt that I'm wearing, and that's it. But I'm going to remain positive and optimistic that this thing will come out. The Atari VCS will be awesome. Now, it may be a failure, because people are saying that even if it does come out with the specs that it has, it can't compete with the Xbox One or PS4. We understand that, but like, I have an Xbox One, I have a PS4. This will be in addition to what I have. It give me more options. It'll be an open Linux PC, so we can emulate other games, we can stream stuff if we want to. If I'm bored playing my Xbox, we can play my Atari VCS. It'll come with the Atari Vault with 2600 games. You know, the joystick has cool LED lights surrounding the joystick, a big ring. You press up and lights up. It looks awesome. And I'm getting the wood edition with the wood paneling. It's going to have 4 USB ports in the front and a cool Atari logo. So I'm looking forward to it. And just a lot of people showing disrespect to Atari and really talking bad about the people that actually are behind the scenes. Like, these people are, in my opinion, are doing the best they can, and I think they'll deliver, you know. Now, Tempest 4000, that's another fucking issue. This is an Atari game. Atari will release it on the VCS. It's not a scam, you know what I mean? Yeah, they were showing the PC version. They can do whatever they want with it, you know what I mean? It will come out on the Atari VCS. On the Wikipedia page, Tempest 4000 is coming out on the Atari VCS worldwide spring 2019. Okay, so it's not a scam. Atari are a legit company, they're a real company, and it will be released. Now, will it be a failure? That remains to be seen. I don't think so. Well, I don't think it will be a failure. I think it'll be a success. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes out and it proves all the naysayers wrong, which it will. You know what I mean? Because these people that are saying this about Atari probably didn't grow up with Atari in the 80s, in the 70s and the 80s. They have no idea what it was like, because they only know Nintendo going forward. You know what I mean? So they have no idea. So we wait and see what happens. You know what I mean? Now, I may be wrong. We wait and see what happens. You know what I mean? You have to wait and see. It's in its prototype stages. That's what it says on the Indiegogo page. Okay? So, like, if you agree, you disagree, whatever. That's your opinion. I'm stating my opinion. You know? So, yeah. This is like my 7th or 8th Atari VCS video, but we'll keep making one supporting them. And because the people that are saying no to this and negative things, they keep making videos. And I'll say this, you know what I mean? This is Atari. Okay, it's not the same group of people on Atari, but the people that are running it are doing a good job. So give them a break. You know? Okay? That's my opinion. Okay? These people are not out to scam us. They're here to make an awesome console, and they will. You know what I mean? I have no proof of this. We don't know any of these people. I haven't talked to them. But based on what I've seen, yes, it will. You know what I mean? Now, we wait and see. In July 2019, like I said, if we get it, and it is a scam, if there's no Tempest 4000 or anything, if we plug it in and all I'm seeing is a blank screen, we'll burn it and make a video of burn. And I'll apologise to all you fellas out there that are saying no to this. That are saying it's a scam. You know, the people behind it don't know what they're fucking doing, and they're fucking criticising YouTubers and professional media outlets. You know what I mean? Well, they shouldn't do that. They should treat everyone with respect. But if these people are doing, look fellas, right? Give it a chance. I know that's hard to do, you know, because you hate Atari, or you hate this whole concept. But look at it from my side of the fence, right? We can see why you don't like it, you know what I mean, and why you think it's a scam. But there's no concrete evidence of it being a scam. You know, there's over $2 million, and it's rising to six. There's 6 days left on the campaign. If this was an out-and-out scam, that $2 million would be zero right now. Atari would say, look, we can't make this thing because it's $0. There's 6 days left on the Indiegogo campaign, right? It's going to be a success, which it is, you know, but if it was a scam, if it was an out-and-out scam, fellas, that would be zero right now. Okay? Atari Holdings is the company. The people that are making the Atari VCS are working for them. They look at, you know, so it's gonna happen, fellas, whether you like it or not. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, if it is a scam, we'll burn it. We'll apologise to all you fellas out there. All that but one thing I don't like is disrespect. You know what I mean? This is Atari, okay? So show some respect and wait and see what happens. That's all I want to say. So I'll probably get a lot of fingers pointed at me and say you're a fucking idiot, you're fucking dumb, whatever. I'm speaking my opinion. I'll keep making videos supporting the Atari VCS, just like the fellas that keep making videos criticising it and putting it down. There's no concrete evidence of it, fellas. If there was, that $2 million or $3 million would be zero right now, and Atari will come out and say, look, we can't make this thing. It's a failure. Okay, fellas? So, thanks very much for watching. If you are watching, I don't think you are, but we'll probably get a lot of dislikes for this, whatever. I'm stating my opinion. It's not a scam. Atari Holdings is Atari. Okay? Right. I think it looks awesome. The design of the console looks awesome. The controller, the joystick, you know. And, the people that are behind the scenes are doing a good job until I see otherwise. You know what I mean? Right. Okay. So this goes for the YouTubers out there that are criticising it and putting it down. The professional journalists. Okay. So thanks very much for watching. That's my opinion. This is just opinion. I have no proof. I have faith. It's a gamble, and I know it's going to come true. Because that Indiegogo campaign will be $0 now. It's not. 6 days left on the Indiegogo page, right? Now, so thanks very much for watching, right? That's all I want to say. I'll make another video soon, you know, just like all the naysayers, they'll make more videos, you know. So thanks very much for watching if you're watching, and this is just my opinion, fellas, right? I don't mean to insult anyone, but this is my opinion, right? I respect Atari too much to let people run their name through the mud. Because if it wasn't for Atari, there'd be no Sega, there'd be no fucking Nintendo, there'd be no PlayStation. That's just a fact, fellas, right? This is the company that invented video games. Okay? So just show a bit more respect. Now, I know I'm being over emotional, but that's what happens when you really care about something and you're loyal to something. Like, call me a fanboy if you want to. Call me a fucking... That's how I feel about it. 40 years apart them, and I'll continue to do so. Until That changes. If that changes, if we get the Atari VCS, I'll plug it in and nothing happens, we'll burn it. I'll apologise to all you fellas out there. Okay? So that's all I want to say. I know I'll keep repeating myself, but I'm going to continue supporting it. I'll make another video shortly, because I want to. I'm stating my opinion, how I feel about it. Okay? So thanks very much for watching. If you want to subscribe or like, dislike, whatever, go ahead. So thanks very much for watching, and would recommend the Sega Game Gear, the Game Sega Mega Drive, and the Dreamcast. If you're interested in these systems, we say get them. Okay, the Game Gear is a failure, but it has a good enough library to get it. The Dreamcast is an awesome console with awesome games on it, and it has I still say this, fans making games for it today. The Game Sega Mega Drive runs grand, right, with the cartridges and the built-in games. It has two great wireless controllers. Awesome. The only problem with this Game Sega Game Sega Mega Drive is the UI. C to go down, B to go up. That's the only issue. And there's no headphone jack. There should be a headphone jack and a volume thing. That's the only issue. So, and that's how I feel about the Atari VCS. It won't be a scam, it'll come out and be awesome. Okay? But if I'm wrong, fellas, I'll say I'm wrong. Okay? And I apologise if we upset anyone, but that's how I feel. You know what I mean? Because the people that are being negative towards it and saying no are just as emotional as me. Okay? Until I see concrete evidence. Okay, fellas? That's my opinion. So see you all later. Take care. Bye bye.